Hey everybody. Hey, I'm D and this is Just Whateva. I will be talking about Euphoria again. And today we will be talking about episode 4, well, season 1, episode 1. No, season 1, episode 4. Titled Shook Ones Part 2. I'm confused because I do not know where Shook Ones Part 1 is, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, anyway, so the show kind of like starts off with Rue speaking to the guy who confronted her last week over some pancakes. This week started off with them eating pancakes and him asking her why did she call him, and at first she's not sure exactly, how to respond to that, so she basically lies until she eventually tells him about jewels, and he asks her to describe how jewels make her feel. And then I think he was trying to, I'm not sure if he was trying to say that jewels is like a drug for Rue or not, but that's kind of what I got from that scene. And then after that, it jumps around and it goes straight to a carnival. And at the carnival, basically everybody's there. And so Rue's there with her sister Gia and somebody else. I don't remember the third girl's name. And then eventually all three of them break apart. So Rue sees Jules and then they both hug, and it seemed like they're cool. I think Jules was afraid that things would be awkward after she kissed Jules, but Jules was like, no, it's okay or whatever. So it's not awkward. But eventually, later on that night, Jules sees Nate's dad, and she tells Rue that that's the guy who she slept with. And Rue's like, no, that can't be. So eventually Jules go and like prove to Rue that she, that Nate's dad is the dude who she actually slept with. And so she proves that over some chili because he dropped the chili, and then he looked at Zendaya's character, and then he looked very much distraught, like he didn't know what to do. But Jules was only just trying to prove that he's the dude that she slept with. And then after that, they kind of geek out about it or whatever. Or geeking out might be the wrong word to use, but they freak out together about it, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you slept with Nate's dad type of thing. And then after that, they end up separating because Rue gets a phone call from her mom and she has a curfew, so she has to go find her sister, and they end up separating to look for Zendaya's sister, and eventually they find her hanging out, Zendaya finds her hanging out with some guys, and she was like smoking marijuana or whatever. And I found that interesting because I feel like, I'm the youngest in my family, so like, did I look up to my older brother? Yeah, but was I trying to do everything that he did? No. Except my mom always compared us academically, so I tried to kind of be like him in that aspect because she always did that. But other than that, like, his life choices was his life choices, like I never tried to mimic that or do that. So for me, like, after finding a sibling like Gia found Zendaya, when she OD'd. So I feel like that personally for me would kind of like make me not want to do that ever, you know. But like do any kind of drug at all. But yeah, so Zendaya finds Gia, smoking and getting high and stuff, and it was kind of a tense moment when she was telling her sister, "Hey, like we gotta go home or whatever," and then the dudes kind of like brought up Zendaya's overdose and all this stuff. I thought Zendaya was gonna hit one of them, but she didn't or whatever. And then after she got her sister, they went home. And she told Gia, not to do it again. And Gia went to bed and she spoke to her mom and then they went to sleep. So that's basically Zendaya's storyline. Not a lot really happened there. So now we can kind of talk about other people. They kind of interact with each other. Anyway, so you have Cassie and Maddie. Okay, so what happened with that? Cassie and McKay go to the carnival together. Maddie goes to the carnival looking for Nate. McKay kind of like disowns Cassie in a way, kind of like they're asked if they're a couple, and he says no, we're just chilling, which is terrible because he just got finished telling her that he loves her almost in every episode except for this one. He has literally told her that he loves her. So she's confused. I'm confused. Like, do he really want to be with her or not, type of thing. And so after he said that they was just chilling, Cassie got upset and she stormed off. Maddie goes to the carnival to meet up with Nate. Nate does not like what she's wearing and he tells her to leave because his family already do not like her. So that pisses her off, and so she storms off. What happens? They bump into each other, Cassie and Maddie, and they're friends anyway, so they decide to go ahead and get high because their boyfriends pissed them off. So they end up buying some Molly, and let's just say they do some crazy things on Molly. Maddie ends up going to Nate's family's booth because they set up a chili booth, and Maddie goes over there and basically yells at Nate and his parents, which to me is a bad move. If you really like a dude, you really want to get along with his family. Anyway, so she gets mad, she cusses them out, and then why did I say out like that? Anyway, she cusses them out, and then and then she kind of storms off, but Nate goes after her, and then he chokes her, and then he apologizes, and they kind of make up. She admits about going through his phone. He asks her not to tell anybody, which by this point she has already told 2 people, and it's not like the other 2 people promised her that they wouldn't tell anybody. So I'm sure that will get out because she's over here thinking that he might be gay anyway. So anyway, he apologizes to her, and she accepts his apology, and then I guess, and then she leaves or whatever. But yeah, then she leaves and she meet up with Cassie. So this is what happened with Cassie while she was on Molly. While she was on Molly, she meets this dude and she tells him to get on the carousel with her. They get on the carousel. They start making out. And I guess she got really hot and like turned on horny. She got really horny. And she ends up having an orgasm on the Ferris wheel. Not Ferris wheel, on the carousel in front of a bunch of people. So a bunch of people saw this and they judged her, which any normal person would do. I would judge you if I saw you on a carousel where children where children normally are. Like, take that somewhere else. But anyway, after that, she kind of looks, she's a little distraught, and her and Maddie end up finding each other. And so that's Cassie and Maddie's storyline. Then you have Kat, and I think the guy in her biology class or chemistry class, I think his name is Ethan, if I'm not mistaken. I think his name is Ethan. Anyway, this storyline was interesting because at first Kat was on the Ferris wheel with Jules, but when she saw Rue, which is Zendaya, they ended up hanging out. So Kat accidentally bumped into Ethan, and then they started getting on a bunch of rides and stuff together. Eventually, he tells her he's gonna go buy some more tickets. She just needs to buy 2 slushies, and then they can meet back up. Well, after she bought the 2 slushies, she sees him, but he's talking to somebody else who, he was talking to somebody else, but it wasn't what Kat thought it was. Like, the chick that he was talking to was asking him about his sister. I think she said something like, your sister's not calling me back, or she's been dodging my phone calls. I'm gonna need you to talk to her, type of thing. And so he agreed to that, and Kat didn't go up there to talk to him. She didn't try to get better, understanding of the situation. She just got in her feelings, and she assumed, which we already know what assume, means. You make a beep out of you and me. So in this case, she assumed, and she stormed off, only to do something, in my opinion, which was stupid, because it's like, this could have been solved with a simple conversation. She found some dude, and long story short, she ends up having sex with him. And I'm not sure if she enjoyed herself or not, because she could be lying about enjoying herself or not. I don't know. Because he asked her, when it's all said and done, he asked her basically, if she orgasmed or whatever, and she said no, and she walked away with a smile on her face. So again, I'm not sure if she actually didn't, or if she did and she just lied about it because she wanted him to feel like crap. I don't know. But that was basically her storyline. Then after that, you have Nate and his dad's storyline. So basically, again, back to the beginning, Nate's dad saw Jules. He freaked out, and then he ends up following her once he see that Jules is by herself. He ends up following her, and then he I was nervous because I thought Jules was by herself, behind some stations or whatever. She was behind some stuff, and so I thought he was gonna hurt her. But it turns out that he asked her, kind of begged her not to tell anybody, and she agreed not to. And so after that, fast forward, at the end of the carnival, he ran home, went to his study, locked the door, and then went through his little sex tapes or whatever. And my theory is, I don't think he found the tape with her on it. I think Nate has it. And so anyway, that was with the dad. So then with Nate, after his whole blow up with Maddie, he ends up not calling, but texting Jules to meet up. They end up meeting up, and Jules is distraught, let's say heartbroken, because the guy who she was falling in love with turned out to be Nate. And so she tells him that she do not trust him, which, I agree, I wouldn't trust him either. And at first it kind of seemed like he was being sincere at first, but then by the end of their conversation, crazy Nate just came and just ruined her. So it got to a point where Nate basically told her if she told anybody about, what she did with his dad or whatever, he would release the news that she took, or the photos that she took of herself and sent it to him. He would release that to the police and charge her with child pornography or whatever. And he was talking about in that state, they get charged the same, even if they're under 18 or whatever. And so, like, he goes through all this stuff to threaten her, but at the end of the day, like, she had agreed, with his dad that she wouldn't have mentioned it. So I feel like by him doing this, it was kind of like counterproductive in a way, but of course he had no way to know that they had that conversation. But I feel like his plan kind of just backfired, because you don't just threaten anybody and think that they might not do anything. Well, in this case, I guess he could, because, like, he got stuff to blackmail her. So, never mind. Like, I guess he could or whatever. But, after that, she leaves, and, so that's the end of Nate's storyline, that episode. But, the episode ends with Jules going to Rue's house, and them sharing the bed and them making out and stuff, at the end of the episode. And I personally disagree with that, only because I feel like Jules know that Rue likes her, and I understand that she was hurt in that moment, because her whole idea of Tyler was like shot, and killed. Like, the whole idea of him just blew up in her face when she found out it was Nate. But, like, don't make out with somebody who really, really like you, because in that, I feel like at the end of the episode, I kind of feel like Jules, in a way, manipulation might be a strong word, but I feel like I don't know. I don't think her making out Rue came from a genuine place. I think it came from she's hurt and she was seeking comfort, And so, that's kind of how the episode ended. I don't think a lot really happened. The only big moments to me was the whole Nate and his dad thing, because I personally really wanted to know how that storyline would end up. And so, yeah, my thoughts on this episode. I thought this episode was okay. I actually kind of liked last week's episode a little bit better. Ooh, also, no penises. There was no penises this episode, so like, I thought after episode 2 and 3, I kind of thought that was gonna be like all over the show. I was really looking forward to the whole Nate and his dad thing, and I guess I didn't get what I wanted. I thought it would be a more, like, a bigger situation than what it actually was. Yeah, I kind of want to get more Gia. I want to see more of Rue's little sister. I want to see more of the little kid drug dealer, because I don't think I got enough of him this episode. I want to see. That's it. I actually just want to see. I'm holding up 3 fingers. I only want to. I'm more invested in 2 side characters than I am like the main people. Looking forward to next week. We'll see what happens. Let me know what you thought of this episode down below. Please comment. You feel free to like this video if you feel led to. And again, we do our best to upload once a week. Bye.